Today we're going to talk about why most of you cannot do a ketogenic diet, but there are a lot of solutions. Let's get into it. Welcome everyone to my camper. Okay, let's get into it because I got to edit this dang thing and move on. Most people cannot do a ketogenic diet. They cannot. And the main reason is that their gallbladder is jacked up. Yeah, now some people have hypoglycemia. That's a huge problem, or some people have issues with lipase production. But let's keep it real. It's the gallbladder, most of you. And the reason why I say most is because I have consulted over 10,000 people over the years. You can go back to my energy videos 100 years ago. And back then, people had gallbladder issues, and now it's even worse. So I'm going to go over a little bit about the symptoms very quick, because most of you know this. But there's some weird stuff that y'all need to know about the symptoms and how the gallbladder is working. The symptoms. Easy peasy. You don't like to eat fat. You feel full on like 2 tablespoons of fat when you should be able to eat blocks of fat and not feel full. An aversion, nausea, heart palpitations, headaches, neck pain, shoulder blade pain in the back, right side pain and middle of the stomach to the back, diarrhea, loose stool, pale stool, floating stool, gas, bloated like frack. A lot of you can just have a little bit of, let's say, sludge, which is thick bile salts. The salts should be sitting in a watery, yellowish green solution. And when it forms up and gets thick like honey or molasses, you can have some problems. Because if you cannot digest the fat, because you need that gallbladder, it's going to release salt. And that salt is going to scrub and break down that fat so you can get into ketosis. And if you're having problems breaking down fat, you ain't going to get into ketosis. That's why a lot of you have crappy ketones or crappy blood sugar. You've got to have a functioning gallbladder, or this whole thing is värdelös, which in Swedish means worthless. How does this hot stinking mess happen? Because if your gallbladder's not working, you, first of all, are not going to get into ketosis. You can make the ketones, not use them, but you're not going to absorb a lot of vitamins plus omega-3s. So, how does this happen? Pretty easy. Fat phobia. All y'all who are afraid of eating fat, well, your liver is making it and it's dripping, drip, drip, drip into the gallbladder. And when nothing's being released, because every time you eat animal fat, the body has to release these salts that is in a watery yellowish solution. Body has to release it. So if it's not being released because you're not eating any animal fat, it backs up. It begins to become over thick, and then it gets so thick it turns into sludge, and that sludge turns into stones, and that's a hot mess. You feel sick, like literally nauseous, vomity, diarrhea. Ugh. A lot of you have this problem. I'm so lucky that I don't. I can eat 10 packs of 220 grams of butter, and I would just feel like little full on 10 for the whole day. So the weird stuff that I want you to think of, like, how does this happen? First of all, plant-based diets, fear of fat. But the other stuff is like how you sit. If you're sitting like this and your body's in the C shape, you can't get enough upper body flow. The walls of that gallbladder can thicken up and you can't release bile. Who would have thunk that how you sit is going to be the huge sort of like tipping point to you developing a gallbladder issue? So, of course, not eating enough fat, veganism, plant-based, fear of fat, how you sit, if you have a desk job, if you don't exercise, if your blood sugar is running too high, it can form the thickness of this bile. Stress can thicken the wall. A tight gallbladder can happen from stress, from sitting poorly. A tight gallbladder. You're like, it's not just like, oh, I haven't eaten enough fat. It's also a friggin' tight gallbladder, which is very common in a lot of people. There's a reduction of flow, blood flow, and absolutely the bile salt flow to the small intestine to break down that fat. Now, I'm not even going into the stones. That's a whole nother ball of wax where people will have stones that aren't blocking the plumbing, the biliary duct system, and doctors are still removing them. You can fix this shite. I mean, exercise. I mean, there's malic acid, TUDCA, oxalate. I've gone over all of the supplements. But the weird stuff, like just eat fat. And if you have a gallbladder problem that's making you feel nauseous, eat small amounts with protein every couple of hours. Or you could do the protein, fiber, the gristle, the fat trimmings for the short term. And that's mixed with fat mixed with protein until your gallbladder just starts to release bile again. You could do a digestive enzyme like lipase for the short term. But exercising and sleeping well and trying to get your blood sugar balanced and having a good lymphatic system, hydration, because if you are dry because you're not minding the minerals, sodium, potassium, magnesium, water, the gallbladder backs up. It's crazy. And the weird stuff is like, if your liver's functioning poorly, then your kidneys, and then your gallbladder. So you have to make sure that your organs are functioning properly. Like, you don't want to smoke or drink soda or do these carnivore keto diets and then not manage your electrolytes, because things like fasting is another one. People wouldn't understand that, like, fasting also creates reduction of bile flow. And a lot of these people who've been fasting, dry fasting, intermittent fasting, 40-day fasting, 20-day fasting, develop gallbladder issues. So when they go from that to eating a bunch of fat, they're like, ooh, I don't feel so well. Then they can't adapt. And yeah, this is a deeper rabbit hole to go down, but this is what we got for tonight. Yeah. Eat fat. Mix it with protein in the beginning, like egg yolks. Perfect. Or fat with a couple bites of meat. Yeah. Fat trimmings for the short term. Drink enough water. Get your electrolytes balanced. Exercise. Get the lymphatic system flowing. You could use hexane-free. That's another weird one. Castor oil on the gallbladder. Massage it. Get it to be stiff. And fix your posture. Comment below. Do you have problems with your gallbladder? Do you feel like eating 1 spoon of fat makes you feel full? Yeah. Do you feel mostly good? But then if you have a little bit too much fat, you should eat copious, unlimited amounts of fat and not ever feel sick. So if you do even a little bit, it's the gallbladder. Comment below. Share this content if you guys feel like you need coaching. You can go to my website and sign up for a consultation. StephaniePerson.com. My Instagram is Stephanie Ketogenic. Facebook fan page, Stephanie Business Person. I do run a course where I cover a plethora of subjects. One being the gallbladder, keto, carnivore, low carb, high fat, and how to go in between all these diets. And there's dogs barking next door at my horses. I Yes. Comment below. Share this content. That's how people find me. And I'm out. Because now my horse is walking to the door. I could hear him. And I still got to edit. Energy. 57. 17 years on a ketogenic diet. Watch the electrolytes. That's the worst. If you don't manage. Otherwise, keto is like amazeballs. And I don't mean sweaty